Yo, it's Sway.
Sway.
Sway. Sway.
Sway.
Sway.
Sway.
In the morning.
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 Only on Shade 45.
Wake your fuck ass up.
Yeah. Bitches.
We gonna go ahead and smoke all these motherfuckers. I don't care who the fuck out there. God damn it.
Damn.
Oh
Woo!
shit.
That was Larenz Tate, right?
Yeah, I could tell you a story about that.
Okay, that's Larenz Tate from A Scene from Menace to Society. Alan Hughes from the Hughes Brothers is here. Made that movie back in 1993, celebrating the 20-year anniversary. What can you tell me about that?
Well, my brother and I were in the editing room, and back then they used to cut movies on what's called a flatbed, which means it wasn't digital. You actually cut film. You know, you sat there, and if you had an idea, the editor would have to take 15 minutes to cut that idea, and you sit back and you're waiting, you're impatient, you know, whatever you're doing, smoking weed. Back then, we weren't smoking weed in the editing room.
Right.
But we were sleeping in the editing room because all our ideas were taking too long. So we fell asleep on the couch, and he was cutting. I said, put that take in, which you guys just heard. Let's see how that works, because we had two other takes we tried. And we were sleeping, and I remember hearing, I went, what the fuck is going on? I woke up. I said, what is, oh, shit, that's it.
Wow.
That's it. And Albert woke right up, too, like, that's it. That was a moment we literally woke up out of our sleep because of the way it sounded.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
It was just so real.
And that was Larenz Tate, right?
That was money. That was Larenz Tate.
Yeah.
He came in, we were looking for, actually, he came in the casting round that we had exhausted all the possibilities on O-Dogs. And we were kind of going for a cliche. We wanted buff, dark skin, black, you know, tough, you know.
Yeah.
And we couldn't find an O-Dog, and the casting director said, all right, I'm going to bring in the guys I didn't want to show you.
Yeah.
And then this kid from Disney Channel walks in. And I'm like, look at this. This is hilarious. What is he gonna do? We said action. He got down, started shooting dice and ad-libbing. And man, he was like, he came. It was shot. You got it.
Yeah.
You got it.
He brought it to life right then and there.
Yep.
And that's for wannabe actors. This is how it happens, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Now, Saphir, who's a good friend of mine from Oakland, was the cousin who got shot in the beginning of the movie,
Yes,
right?
sir.
And how did he get the role?
He got the role from just, you know, when we was around Digital Underground and Tupac, he was one of the guys that was a part of that crew. And Saphir, you obviously know he has quite the personality on him, and he's a hustler, and I think the ladies love Saphir. So
Yeah.
we needed immediately for people to connect to him the moment you saw him, because he was going to lose his life very quickly.
Yeah. You know, and Saphir was a true. I'm from Oakland. I mean, we used to run together. His brother Saphir is a true dude. You know what I mean? So when y'all casting him, I was like, oh, they really know what they're doing. You know. And so you met. So people don't realize. So you were telling me people thought you were from Oakland.
Yeah.
Your brother and you were from Oakland because you did the Digital Underground videos. You worked with Raw Fusion, which is Money B's group.
Right.
And that's how you met Pac. Now, how did you first meet Pac?
I first met Tupac at a Waffle House the day before in Oakland, the day before we were going to shoot the Raw Fusion video with Digital Underground. Shock G, everyone was there, you know, at the Waffle House. And we were meeting with Money B and DJ Fuse and the whole crew. And there was this one guy that just stood out to me, and he was one of the funniest people I ever met. He was snapping on everybody. He was just snapping on everybody. And I fell out of my chair at one point. I don't know who this dude is, but I like him. You know, so I at one point I went up to use the restroom, as men do sometimes, you know, and I'm in the urinal, and in comes Tupac, and he's taking a leak right next to me. This is always awkward, you know. You get the stage fright at that point. But I was already streaming at the point, so he had the stage fright issue, you know. And he leans over, he says, "Yo, I saw those shorts you guys did," and then there was like two 5-minute shorts. One was called the Drive-By, and one was called Menace to Society. No relation to the movie; they were black and white. He's like, "Yo, I just signed a record label. My record label's on my dick." He just kept saying, "It's on my dick," and I'm holding my dick. Like, okay, let's just the puns. Right? So he says, "Yo, I'm gonna get y'all to do my first music video." No one knew who the hell Tupac was.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, this is another dude saying whatever. We walked out of the bathroom. Next day, I show up to the set because we're going to do this whole intro to the video with Digital Underground, Shock G, Yo, Money B, Why You Late, this, that, and the other. And we're there an hour, and I'm like, yo, where's Tupac? And they're like, I think he's coming. I'm like, no, where's Tupac? I'm not starting till he gets here. And that's how passionate and how early I saw something. I didn't know what it was, but he came and we sat him right next to Shock G. He had a leather black hat and leather, cornball 90s suits.
Back in the days, right,
exactly.
right.
And man, he from then on, we did the video. It was a very successful video. Won an award for BET. And a BET Best Debut Video. And the very next week, I get a call from Jimmy Iovine's office. Says, can I speak to the Hughes twins? Hughes brother, who apparently Tupac wants you guys to do his music video? I'm like, oh, shit. And we did his first music video in Oakland.
You sound just like Jimmy Iovine.
Oh, I wasn't in Jimmy.
He runs Interscope Records.
Oh, I could do Jimmy.
You can do Jimmy. All right, well, we got so much to talk about. I want to also get, and I know you don't often talk about this, but I want to ask you, as much as you could tell us when we come back, what happened? What went wrong with the relationship? With Tupac, if you don't mind. Is that okay?
No. You know what? This is the forum too, because I'm a fan of the show. I've never actually talked about it, and I like to leave it all on the field today.
Okay. We'll talk about that up next. Sway in the morning. Alan Hughes is here. Shit. Yeah, we taking them to damn presidents, baby. Come on. 16 minutes into the hour.
Woo! Get the fuck up off a spider!
You got more heart than your punk ass old man. Come here.
That was a scene from the movie Dead Presidents back in 1995, made by the Hughes brothers. Alan Hughes is here. 19 minutes into the hour, Sway in the Morning, Shade 4-5. We're going to be talking about Broken City in a second. And in that scene, it featured a very special guest.
A star was born in that scene. Who was that?
Heather B. Wow. Play it back.
Don't do that, Sway.
Play it back.
I ain't no motherfucking play toy. I'm kicking your ass. Get the fuck up.
Get the fuck up off a spider!
You got more heart than your punk ass old man. Come here.
Bam!
Oh, you took it. Hey, had you had any acting experience when you did that?
Absolutely not.
I got to tell you what's amazing, because over the years, we've, especially with Menace, you cast real people, and sometimes, most of the times, you get let down, right? So Heather shows up, and I don't know what the story was. I can't remember, but I know I wanted her really bad for that role. And I guess I just felt her on TV. I was like, if she can pull this off. So she came down. We did several takes. Every time it was money. Like, that was real. You get the fuck. I can't even do it, right? But here's the thing about stuntmen and actors is that when they take a person that can take a punch and make it look real is rare for a stuntman. Because the fist is coming close and you have to sell it with your head. Yeah. And your whole body has to jerk. I'm saying like 25% of stuntmen can really sell that. Yeah. Barely any actors can sell that. Every time she sold taking a punch like it was real, I was like, where the hell she get that talent from?
Hungry? It's called hunger.
Oh my God. Her neck would pop and her whole body would pop. We did that thing like, 6, 7, 8, 9 times. Wow. And I'm not exaggerating. Heather B not only could take a punch, but make a punch.
Wow.
Thank you so much.
Because that's all about the reaction.
It was the reaction.
Wow.
Well, I was so inexperienced. What happened, I saw the stunt girl dressed in the clothes that I had on. And I was like, what is she doing here? Why does she have on the clothes that I have on? And they said, well, that's the stunt person. She's going to fill in for you. I was like, well, can I try? Like, I just wanted to be on screen in the film so bad.
Yeah, but I also know, Heather, you just was scared. She was going, yeah, man, they're not about to replace me.
Okay.
I knew what it was. I know, Heather. It's okay. I know. You didn't know. You was like, they're trying to replace me.
Already.
That's great.
That's a double already.
Dead Presidents. What a great movie, man. Alan Hughes is here telling us some great stories and about back in the day. When you were talking about your relationship with Tupac and how it started with Digital Underground, shooting videos with Raw Fusion. And then there was the big controversy when what happened with your relationship with Tupac? What went down?
Well, David Geffen has famously said, do you want to hear the whole story or you want to hear the story?
I want to hear the whole truth.
That's another thing.
Yeah, the whole truth.
Well, let's take it back to when we were doing music videos with him. The first one was his first single called Trap. The second one was Brenda's Got a Baby. During Brenda's Got a Baby period, now every time he'd come to L.A., I'd pick him up from Burbank Airport, and we were really close friends, at that point, based off that first story I told you. So I picked him up one day I think it was when we were getting ready. No, it was for the third video. By that time, we were having some difficulties in the relationship because he was becoming more erratic for some reason. I couldn't figure it out. And so I picked him up at the airport. His brother was with him. My brother was with me. And we had to go to Paramount to screen some movie he was in. I didn't know Tupac did a movie. It hadn't been out. No one knew about it. And at the time, he had this one tattoo of the Pharaoh on his chest. That's the only tattoo he had on his body. So we pulled up to the Paramount lot. We went into the screening room, and it was just us four, I believe. And Tupac and I and my brother, his brother, we saw Juice for the very first time.
Oh, wow.
Together.
What year was that?
Juice came out in 92. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, right before Menace, because we were doing music videos. You know what? I may be wrong. It might be 91.
Okay.
It might be 91 because we made Menace in 92. So we sat there, and I always tell people there's something about the silver screen, unlike records, unlike TV. There's something about that big silver screen. I watched Tupac look at this thing, and one, he was never the same after he walked out of that theater, one. Two, when I was in the theater, I literally watched the way he was looking at the screen, and I didn't know it then, but he saw his future. He saw what he was going to embody at that point. Yeah. He found his identity. And from the moment he walked out of that screening room, that's when the tats, everything, all the erratic behavior started. And what happened was New Line Cinema, who was financing Menace, said, we'll make this script, but you have to get a platinum recording artist in order for us to green light it. We said, we'll get our man Tupac to do it. Is this story too long? Because I want to take it way back.
No. We're all caught up in the story. What are you talking? We're all caught up in the story. What are you talking about too long? Don't do that to us, Alan.
Commercial break.
No commercials here, man.
So where was I? So, yeah, they wanted us to get a platinum artist. So I went and met Tupac down at a hotel in Santa Monica. He was prepping for Poetic Justice. And he was hilarious because we were getting ready to shoot another music video for him. And I didn't like the track. And we didn't really want to shoot the video, but I'm there to get him in my movie, to commit to my movie. First thing he says to me, in this next music video we do, I want you guys to make me into a white man. I said, okay, cool. Yeah, okay. So you got to clown around, be a white man, and then we're going to make the music video. He's like, no, I want you to go get a whole suit and a wig. I want to put makeup on. I want to be a white man in the video. I said, but it's called When My Homies Call. Where's the white man? I just don't get it, Tupac. And he was just smoking weed, and I go, okay, let me just get past that. We'll just shoot the video and see what happens, right? And I said, well, will you do Menace? He read the script. He's like, yeah, check this out. I'll do Menace, but me and John Singleton, we're like De Niro and Scorsese. I'm only fucking with him from now on as far as my leading roles. So I'll do a ancillary role. I'll do a side role for you guys. But, my man John Singleton and me, I said, cool, that's all we needed. And, it was better because he was going to play Sharif, the Muslim character.
Oh, okay.
And he had already played Bishop, so why, everyone thought he was going to play O-Dog.
Right.
Cut to, we're rehearsing the first day with everyone. I mean, when he came in the first day, he literally ran over to Jada. I didn't know they had any kind of
Jada Pinkett Smith.
Yeah. He literally took her and threw her in the air and caught her on the other side of the room. And then hugged, and they damn near were tongue kissing, but not. They were like brother and sister.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, thank God, because he was getting so erratic. Thank God he's found someone that might smooth him out. And we would try to rehearse, and he would just say shit and do shit, get up, and he was just erratic, and I just didn't understand what was going on. So, and everyone was laughing because he was funny. And the makeup woman came in and says, I'm going to put makeup. Who needs it? He goes, I don't wear no motherfucking makeup. I'm not doing it. I'm like, okay. Okay. Second day before he came in, I said to the cast, I said to Larenz, Jada, I said, don't laugh when he does this because, we're just encouraging bad behavior here. We got to get to work. Second day he came in, he noticed it too because he is funny. Yeah. No one was laughing. So he said something to me that was confrontational. I said, hey, come in my office, man. Let's just me and you come in the office, And I was sitting down in my chair, and he just going nuts. And by the way, I can't tell you details because I don't know what the hell he was saying. It never had anything to do with anything. I'm talking about our beef. There was never really a real beef is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
But he was going nuts, pacing back and forth in my office. He was very, very passionate, and I can't remember what he was complaining about. But then he said to me across the room, he goes, "Why you smiling, nigga?" And I start smiling when I'm getting ready to fire on somebody, you know, because he was at that point standing right over me, and I was like this. I didn't know I was smiling. I was like, "Look, man." I stood up. I go, "Let's just start chunking right now. You know, we can do it right now. You know, because he was right here standing on me, and God bless him, because I do want to talk about the positives do outweigh the negatives with Tupac.
We're going to do that. I just want to. Nobody's ever heard your side of the story.
That day in that room, I swear to you, he ran to the door when I said that. He opened it. He said, "Call my manager." Slammed it and ran away. That's the last time I saw Tupac until the incident happened a year later. Called him later that night. I said, "Tupac, yo, come on, man. I can't work with you if we can't communicate. Call my manager." Oh, this shit's getting deep. You know?
And then so he left, and then
this was when I called him back later in the evening. He left. I tried to call him and like, "What's going on, man? Let's talk." You know, they're paying him $300,000 for three weeks worth of work.
Damn,
unheard of back then. Unheard of back then.
And how old were you at that time?
20, and Tupac was 20.
Yeah. Both 20 years old.
Yeah, Tupac was
with
20.
All that.
Yeah.
Power, so to speak.
And he was, I think, the heir to the throne of Denzel. I really believe he was going to be the heir to that throne. You know?
Let's do this, because I want to hear about what happened a year later at the incident.
Yeah, there's like 2 more acts, but we can do 1 more act.
Okay. All right. Alan Hughes is here, and I know you guys are hanging on the edge of your seats, and we want to find out more about this, and I really appreciate you.
Oh, thank you, Sway.
Being able to express this and discuss this with us, because it gives a lot of people, you know, a better understanding of what went on. That was a major milestone time period.
Yes, it was.
Especially in hip-hop culture. Sway in the Morning, Shade 4-5, the late, great Tupac Shakur, 35 minutes into the hour. We have Alan Hughes of the Hughes Brothers here. And, man, you know, the list goes on. Menace to Society, Dead Presidents, American Pimp, From Hell, The Book of Eli, and now Broken City with Russell Crowe and Mark Wahlberg and many other big stars. Right now, you sharing with us just some precious milestone moments that's taken place in not just hip-hop history, but American history and culture, film, and music as well, and your relationship with Tupac Shakur, and how it went, you know, it took a turn for the worst at one point. And you was telling us about the first real confrontation, and that was on the set of, was it Menace?
No, before we got to the set.
Before you got to the...
Yep, when we were rehearsing.
Okay.
When it actually happened, the incident happened on the music video set for Menace. Yeah.
That was on the music video set.
Yeah, the violent incident is what we're talking about?
No, we're talking about what you just talked about was in the office.
Oh,
He left his office.
Yeah.
And he left your office.
Yeah.
That was on what set?
That was for Menace. That was in the production office for Menace.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now
before we start shooting.
Before you started shooting, and then you didn't see him again until a year later?
I didn't see him again till maybe it was 10 months later when the incident happened with the gangbangers, he and I.
What happened?
Well, what happened was Tupac was fired from Menace because there was a contract that, you know, you stipulate you got to be there, you got to be this, you got to be. And long story short, New Line Cinema got uncomfortable, and he was relieved of his duties, and another actor took the role. And he had been, you know, running around. I heard through mutual friends that he was like, you know, he wanted to get at me, you know, and my brother, you know, and he had said it on a few radio stations, and then it culminated with him being on Yo MTV Raps, where they were promoting Poetic Justice. He went out of his way to say, "When I see them niggas in traffic, it's on," and he was going so far out of his way that. What's my man's name, the skinny one?
Ed Lover. Who, by the way, has a show on Backspin every single day on Sirius XM. Make sure you check out Ed Lover, channel 46.
Ed Lover, check the footage. Ed Lover put his hand, it's in the documentary of Tupac, and was trying to hold his mouth. John Singer was trying to hold his mouth because they knew what he was doing, you know. Long story short, there was the second single for Trigger's Got No Heart by Spice One. I was just showing up to support Spice One, you know, and I wasn't directing the video, and neither was my brother. And I pulled up in the vehicle with my friend, my brother, and over on the street corner was Tupac with about 12, 13 Crips, rolling 40s. We hadn't even heard of rolling 40s before. Heard of rolling 60s. And they were They had 40 ounces, and they were smoking weed. And I immediately knew what was happening. I said, he's foaming the runway for an ass whooping right now, gangbang. And I said, damn. So what could I do? I got in my car, and Tupac approached me, and they all surrounded Tupac, me, and in the doorway. And Tupac was like, yo, why you do this? Why you do that? And I said, look, I called you. Everything he was asking me, I had an answer for. I had a very civil answer for it, a very honest answer for it. And you could tell Tupac is a highly intelligent person. We got to get into that in a second, And he was like, you can see him going, yeah, he's right. So then he said, something. And I was like, something. And he was like, yeah, he's right. He's thinking. And the guy right next to him was like, punch him in the mouth. At that point, it's gotten violent. Like he has to do something. So I found a way to squeeze out of the corner of my car and get past them and walk down the street. I go, look, what am I going to do? You got 15 motherfuckers here. You know what I'm saying? And I walked across the street, and I can only liken it to, because I've been hit in the back of the head with a Nerf ball before. Somebody hit me in the back of the head with a Nerf ball, and I went, oh, shit. Did Tupac just blindside me? And I turned around, lo and behold, he was right there. And it felt like it wasn't, it just felt like a tap. And he was sitting there like this. Cut to, all I remember is him over my head. And next thing I remember is on this other side of the street, he's on top of the trunk of a truck. And I'm going like this is a movie. My fist is coming back like this. I got him by the neck. And I'm getting ready to punch him. And just like a movie, I get snatched off him. And then it's just a bum rush. And everybody just started rat packing me. And it was like raging bull, blood spurting everywhere. And I just felt my body just contort. I'd never been, rat packed before. I was just shocked I didn't feel anything.
So now when people hear this story, they're going to think that you mean to tell me you picked up Tupac over your head and slammed him on a car?
Yeah, I mean to tell you
they're not going to believe it.
Yeah, I mean to tell you this. Tupac was a $140 wet with a brick. Okay, I'm 210 on my lightest day. Okay. And Tupac was a shooter. I mean, we know that, but he wasn't no fighting dude. He was a shooter though. When those two off-duty cops tried to get at him,
wait. We ain't gonna go that dude. You pull back now. Alan, pull out.
He can
rewind.
They were in the wrong. They were in the wrong.
Okay, and then the rest.
So, by the way, you want me to cut to the short part?
Keep going.
Okay, so what happened was I'm hanging down like this, and then I want to get to my friend Tupac. Then I really want to get to my friend. I'm hanging down like this, and there's blood dripping. All I can see is the concrete, and Tupac is about 10 feet away from me, going, "Yo, dog, get my change, And I'm like, what the fuck is he talking about? And I'm hunched over. One of the gangbangers goes, "Yo, dog, give me his change." And I'm like, change? I look down at my hand at all his change from his neck, all his gold chains from his neck. I said, yo, goddamn, I'm over here. I'm twisted. I'm a bloody pulp. And he couldn't come get his chains out of my hand. I didn't even know I had his chains in my hand, right? So long story short, that's what happened. I called somebody, an emissary of a mutual friend. I said, look, just tell Tupac meet me in the park. Let's just meet in the park. Let's just settle this like men, after the incident. And they were like, nah, Tupac, Tupac, it's whatever. Months later, because it did go to trial and all this, I won't get into that. Vibe magazine did an interview, his last interview with him, and they asked him, they said, is there anybody you want to apologize to? He said, I only want to apologize to two people. Quincy Jones, for that shit I said about him and white women. And at the time he was dating Quincy's daughter. And he goes, I want to apologize to the Hughes brothers because I was wrong. So, and the tragedy is, and the agony and the ecstasy is he was just a rock star. He just was that talented and more talented than we ever got to see. In fact, the thing I tell people that most people don't know is he was dummying himself down for his rap verses. He was making it more Simple Simon so people could understand it and connect to it. He was vastly more intelligent than his rhymes or his music. He was a voracious reader. He was a sweet, kind man. He was multi-talented. We know that. he had a humongous heart. And the thing with him, like a lot of young black males, and we obviously know this, he had mad daddy issues. You know, he had mad daddy issues. I got him. You know, I'm saying that's why we connected. You know, but you know, I feel like we lost someone bigger than Marilyn Monroe or James Dean. You know, we lost. That was a great loss.
Wow,
you know?
man, that you know.
That's the short story.
That's the short story. and in all fairness, Tupac obviously isn't here to tell his version of it, but we never heard yours, and I wanted to give you that platform. You know, and it's funny you say that cause, about how intelligent he was. Because I'm from Oakland. I used to hang out at his apartment with him over by the lake.
Lake Merritt.
You know, Lake Merritt. I used to be over there. And when we did one of his last interviews, one of the things he said to me was, Sway, man, I'm making the hardest music I can and saying what people want to hear most. So I could get the most amount of people who need to hear this to follow me. And then I'm going to come back and tell them what they need to hear most.
That's right.
But he didn't get a chance to do it.
No, he didn't.
You know.
He didn't. And you know what I find interesting too, because I want to pay respect to him and his mother, his family, you know. And I'm not here to, you know, I love Tupac, you know, and there's the mythology, you know, when somebody becomes James Dean, and you gotta honor that. And over the years, I haven't said anything because we only have so many, you know, heroes, let alone black heroes or icons or legends, and you don't want to denigrate that, especially when one has gotten that far up the, you know, in the pantheon of the gods, you know, whether it be MLK or Malcolm X or even Tupac, you know. So it's been very difficult, and that's why I have not told that story because, you know, you shouldn't really, you know, unless it's the appropriate form and there's the right warmth and heart around. When I walked into the studio, I was like, all right, this is it, you know. So I really appreciate you guys bringing it out of me.
No. I mean, it's a story that I think. I mean, any information about Pac, and I appreciate you saying the flip, the positive side of who he was and who in many ways still is. His spirit is still here. You know, and there's a lot of stories I don't tell. You know what I mean?
There's a lot.
but that story you just told right there could be a movie by itself. You know, you that nice with your knuckle game, though, Alan. I mean, you know.
I didn't catch that, Sway. What'd you say?
You that nice with your knuckle game?
No, absolutely not. Let me tell you something. I'm not no fighter dude, but when you fuck with me, if you want to fight me, it must be over some real shit, and God's with me when I'm fucking with you. Because you're in the wrong, because I'm just not no fighting dude. If you're getting violent with me, that means you're wrong, and I got somebody with me to help me. It ain't me. You're going down. You know what I'm saying? I'm not no fighting dude.
There it is. That's from the movie Broken City by Alan Hughes. Now, is your brother a part of this one too?
No, it's my first solo effort in the feature world.
What made? How does that work? Do y'all decide if you're gonna, you know, I'm gonna pass on this one, or how does that work?
Well, you know, in the beginning when we used to do music videos, we used to do solo music videos, and we've done solo commercials as well. And when we started out with Menace, it was always the plan to do solo albums. You know, so that was the plan, you know. So we wrote that Jackson 5 thing for 20 years. Okay. Here we go. And he's not Tito, and I'm not Tito. But Tito's the normal one right now, by the way.
Yeah, right?
Okay. He's normal one.
All right. Now, Broken City is starring Russell Crowe, who I'm a big fan of, especially since Gladiator.
Yeah,
that was one of my favorite Russell Crowe movies. Mark Wahlberg, who's just an all-around, but I think he's one of the most slept-on, unsung heroes in Hollywood right now.
Perfectly put. Perfectly.
Right?
Taking over, too.
Yeah, isn't he?
Taking over.
And he's just a regular dude. Mark is like the coolest dude.
He's Joe Lunchpail. I mean, you know, he's like Brooklyn.
Okay, all right.
Yeah,
all right.
he's blue collar man. You know, he overachieves and he's salt of the earth, and he represents the underdog. And I look back at our body of work, and I go, oh, okay, it's all about, even since we started with Tupac, disenfranchised characters, people who have been cast aside, misfits, outcasts, and I think Mark embodies that beautifully because he is it.
Well, now the movie is about, now correct me if I'm wrong, because Catherine Zeta-Jones is in it too, right?
Yes, she is. Oh my God,
she looks incredible.
She made my knees buckle.
And she's the wife of Russell Crowe's character, and he's a mayor.
He's the mayor of New York, so she's the first lady of New York in this movie. Yeah,
and he hires Mark Wahlberg's character who's now a private investigator because he's no longer working with the force.
That's right.
To kind of follow her.
Yes.
But he finds out that he probably needs to be following him.
That's right.
Right?
Yeah, he hires Mark. He thinks his wife is cheating on him.
Mm-hmm.
He wants proof. It's an election season coming up. And just like you said, you beautifully put, he finds out he should be tracking the mayor because he's up to something's going on.
Now, Mark Wahlberg has said this is like a movie as a child that he's always dreamt of doing.
Right.
You know, always wanted to be a part of it. What about that movie you think it is about Broken City that he feels this way, and for you as a director?
Well, back in the 70s was like the golden age of cinema for me when they made like Mean Streets, they made like Dog Day Afternoon, Serpico, Chinatown. I mean, Godfather was even made in the 70s, and I'm not even putting this movie on that level at all. But all those movies started first with great stories, and great character, and it wasn't all this herky jerky stuff going on, and nonsense. Everybody was stepping up in those movies too. All the President's Men. These are movies that every role, every character was coming to the table and bringing flavor and giving you a full meal. And that's what he means. This movie's not masquerading as a crime thriller. It's just an action movie or some cornball, this, that, and the other. It's a great story with some great actors, and it's probably on go over a lot of people's heads because it's very laid back and mature in that way. Whereas like Menace was like Jack Daniels, this is like a fine glass of wine, So it's just kind of almost bookending. It's the first contemporary film I made since Menace. The rest with Heather was a period piece in the 70s.
Yes.
Yeah. She played the 70s queen very well, by the way.
Peaches.
Peaches. That's right. That's it. And then American Pimp was retroactive documentary. And then you have From Hell that was 1888, London. And then Book of Eli was in the future. So Broken City is the first film since Menace that's modern day cinema.
Wow, that's great, man. I want to add, now that I have you here, I had Quentin Tarantino on recently, and we were talking about the Django film. And then well, first of all, have you seen it yet?
Nope.
Okay. And so, and I asked him about Spike Lee's and his ongoing like tiff about some of the things, the nigger word that he uses in the movies and excessively. Yeah. How do you feel about that?
Well, it's funny. He and I are friends. Quentin, we haven't seen each other for years, but you can add Denzel and me in front of Spike because I had a conversation with Quentin over the phone years ago. I don't have time to get into it. Denzel confronted him on the set of Crimson Tide, which he rewrote some stuff on. Quentin did. Spike is behind me and Denzel on this one. I'm telling you, we jumped out first. And the only issue I have is this. I respect what Quentin does a lot because he's so different and unique in what he does, and we need him, But when you watch a Goodfellas and it's so real, or Raging Bull from Scorsese is so real, these characters are so real, this life is so real, and one of them Italian dudes says mooks or nigga, you go, all right, he would say that. Yeah. That's what he would say. Now, when you watch Pulp Fiction, a movie we all love, and Sam Jackson's coming in there with a curl, a real nigga, and, with my man, and Quentin standing there, a cornball white boy. Did I tell you to bring a dead nigger in my car? A dead nigger? You brought a dead nigger to my house? I'm like, come on, man. What is this? I don't really understand. This is not reality right now, and that's cool. That's cool. But that word, we all know what's up with that word. They try to bury it in a coffin some years ago, right? I'm not on that side of the fence, but then Django, I love some of the stuff Quentin does, but I don't know if I want to see that tossed around in a fun kind of way,
Because it has such a hurtful legacy behind the word nigga.
Well, that's what they always say, sometimes they say, can black people be racist? You go, well, can the victims be racist? It's the victimizers. That's where the word comes from. So, can you say, I don't like white people or a cracker or peckerwood or whatever it is you're going to say? Is it just as insulting as the N-word? Not until everybody's evened out, not until it's all a level playing field and whatever. Then we can talk about there is, whose hands what can be in everyone's hands, So if that makes any sense.
It did until that last line. You lost me right there.
Finally, all right. I had to take it down.
All right. So are you plan to see Django though for yourself?
Probably at home.
At home?
Yeah.
All right.
I don't really go to the movies too much, so it ain't no knock against Quentin because I don't really go to the movies too much.
All
I
right.
gotta really be in the mood. You gotta sit through 2 hours and 45 minutes now.
Yeah.
With everything.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true. Good point. Okay.
Sorry, y'all.
Broken City is out on the 18th, right?
Yeah.
January
Right,
18th,
18th.
MLK weekend. You got 3 days to get that in.
It's Sway in the morning, only on Shade 45.